What is up, y'all? It's your boy King Drama back at it again. You know what I'm saying? Well, it's not King Drama, it's Lamin. But yeah, I just want to say to you guys, thank you for tuning in to the podcast. Just a little interlude before we go into the actual podcast. I just want to say thank you for actually tuning in. Thank you for showing us support. Thank you for showing us love. We really appreciate that. Make sure to, of course, like and comment. Comment down what episodes you'd like to see next. If you also want to join into the podcast, you are more than welcome to send me a DM. All links are down in the description. And again, I do want to remind you guys that in the quitting YouTube video, I did mention that if we do not hit 400 subscribers by the end of 2023, I'm leaving YouTube. And that means if I leave YouTube, you guys might not be able to see any more episodes of the podcast. So again, make sure to share. If you're watching this and you haven't subscribed, what are you waiting for? Subscribe, gang. Enjoy the podcast.
The debates.
Alright then, what is up, guys? It's your boy Lamin back at it again with another episode of the Gentleman's Podcast. So in today's episode, we have two guests. The first one is Nafis, as you guys seen from the last episode. Nafis, you want to introduce yourself again?
Back at it again. Let's go.
And this next guy, I wouldn't even say he's a special guest. You guys have seen him on the channel. None other than the one and only Ahmed, who still hasn't started his YouTube channel and still hasn't uploaded his vlog. But regardless, let's say speak. Ahmed, introduce yourself.
Hello, my name is Ahmed. You might have the old days of Lamin's YouTube channel followers would know me from all those interviews that we've done.
Oh God.
And I'm back here again in the promise of a interview. Hopefully, this will be more intellectual.
Indeed, even my brother was telling me how Ahmed in a podcast is going to be interesting. So a lot of people probably looking forward to seeing what you got to say. Right then, so today's episode, right, is, well, not today's episode, but today's topic is marriage in this generation. Do you guys want to start it off, or do you want me to start it off?
I'll let you guys start. Yeah.
Ahmed, what about you? Do you want to start it off, or do you want me to start it?
I'll start.
Alright then, let's see what you got to say.
Is it what we think of marriage, or
In this generation, literally just give your opinion.
I grew up in a village, and in a village town, it's very small. Right. There's not many people to be in a village.
Mm-hmm.
If less choice, it's easy to make a decision. Whereas now, because of social media and whatnot, it's a lot harder for people to pick, I would say.
Okay,
Do you agree?
I see. I agree. Most definitely, I agree. Nafis, what do you think? You have anything to add, or do you agree, or?
I do agree, yes, but like I just see that like there are the differences, but I think those differences lead to our generation, because nowadays our generation, you can agree, like probably 2 in 3 are traumatized in a way. So that will affect their future marriages. So marriage in our generation is kind of, I don't know.
I see where you're coming from.
What do you guys see as marriage? To begin with? Let's define marriage before we get into deeper about it. What is marriage in your way?
In my point of view, yeah, marriage is when, obviously, I have to set this because obviously you know how weird this generation is. Man and woman, right? Man and woman get together. They're committed, right? They're in a committed relationship with each other. They love each other. You know, they see themselves, because obviously marriage whenever you think about marriage, it's the rest of your life type of thing. You see what I'm saying? So how I see marriage is you're in a committed relationship. You're like this. There's like almost no way out. Like you can't mess it up. So two men and women, again, I have to point that out, get together, they love each other, they commit. That's how I see it. That's how I look at it. So I don't know what you guys think. I don't know if you guys agree. What about you? What do you?
No, I think you're pretty right. It's just that I think like nowadays they do have that exit clause because you see the divorce rate going up, and it is crazy.
You talk of commitment though, so there must be holding two people to. There must be something that is holding the two people together. What do you think that is? What do you think, in your view, that is?
Love. It has to be love, because, and I say commitment, I mean you are willing. You're not just doing it for the sake of, oh, all my friends are getting married, let me get married too. No, when I say committed, I mean you're willing. You see the person, you see how they behave. Okay, I want that person. That person also sees how you are, sees how you behave, and they go like, yeah, I want you. So love is what's holding them together. That's how I see it.
Is it just love, or is there more?
For now, off the top of my head, all I can think of is love. All I can think of is love is the only thing that's holding them together. Love and trust. Trust too. Trust.
Okay, we're developing. We're at a good pace. What happens when you love? When you run out of love? What then? Because you're talking as if
When you marriage
doesn't just last a couple of 5 years or something. This is for the rest of your life. So if you say that love is the thing that keeps marriage together, we're talking about a relationship that will go from just 5 years of hanging out, whatever, to 45 years. My parents have been married for like 25 years or something.
Mashallah.
At some point, you'll run out of things to say, or you might even get bored of your partner. But sticking around the same person for that long. So, do you think that love is something that will stay the same? You know how we go out with a person? It's so special. Your heart's pumping, whatever. Do you think you will have that feeling every single day of your marriage after the 10th year? And if you put 5 more years, you've gone through so much time.
5 more what?
I guess I'm talking to you.
Yeah, keep going, it's fine.
If you, because you're running out of things to say, and the amount of experiences after a point of time will be more limited, and the possibilities will also be limited, because now you have kids, job, whatever responsibilities. There's less time. So if love and trust is the only thing that keeps marriage together, what happens when that love runs out?
You see, I agree with like what Lamin was saying. Love is one of I don't think it's the only thing, but it is a key one. I feel like in some cases there's a sense of responsibility, because in some cases you have stuff like arranged marriages, you know what I mean? Telling like they see like they're responsible to like uphold to the standards that their parents like laid out for them because of that arrangement. Because of the arrangement, if you know what I mean. So I think there's like I think love is a key factor, but there probably is way more to it than just love. Because obviously love is going to run out. There are going to be those.
So what happens when the love does run out? What keeps that relationship together then?
I can only think
You
of,
said it all.
I can only
said it
think of
all.
responsibility. I don't know, but I can't remember others. But I can only think of that right now.
What are you, Lemon?
Repeat the question because I just went, so I do apologize for that.
Oh, I was telling our brother here that you said that love is a key factor in marriage.
Mm-hmm.
It's something that I agree with. But if it's one of the things that holds a marriage together, it's something that won't be as special as it was the first couple of years for the rest of your life. You'll get used to it. It'll be a day-to-day thing. And it probably won't feel as special as it did before. So what happened when you went out of love? Is trust the only thing that keeps the relationship together?
One could argue that yes, trust is like, I mean, it depends. Because some people, if they run out of love, they could be insecure that, okay, I spent the rest of my life with this partner. I have told them a couple of things. I don't want other people knowing around. I don't want them spreading it around. You know what I'm saying? But then it's like another thing is like, one could also argue memories. It's like when you look back at all the, the fun times that happened. Like, yeah, it won't feel the same as the first time because obviously that was somewhat of an excitement. But it's like now without that person, if you decided, okay, I don't want that person in my life anymore, how are you going to continue your life? Like, let's say, okay, you've been married 40 years, right? And now all of a sudden you got bored, your love ran out, and now you don't want to be with that person anymore. So now, the next couple of years of your life, how are you going to even finish that if you understand what I'm saying? Because, like I said, 40 years is a big chunk of your life, and you spend that with someone. So now to figure, like, what else are you going to do with your life? Because at this point, you ain't got any much more life left. Life is short. You could die tomorrow. So it's like, what do you now do without... So exactly, marriage is like a puzzle. Man for woman. So now... if that piece of the puzzle is gone, how do you continue the puzzle, if that makes sense?
So, what you're saying is that in marriage, after you run out of love, at some point it becomes too late to finish your partner. So what you're trying to say is, after some point, you're stuck with that partner for the rest of your life, regardless if you love that person or not.
Well, I mean,
Is that
it
what you're
depends.
saying?
It depends how you look at it. Me personally, that's how I look at it. Like me, it's like when I'm gonna get married, I'm gonna take my time to pick out the person who I want to be with, because I'll be real. I only want to get married once. I'll be so real. I only want to get married once. After that, if we don't work out, I don't want to be with anyone else anymore. If I'm going to marry someone, right, I want you to be my twin. I want you to be like me. Do you see what I'm saying? So now, obviously the love will run out, but I feel like there will be that part of me that's going to be like, just continue it anyway. That's your twin. And like, let's say as well, if you have you have kids as well. So now when you have kids, like, what happens at that point? If you divorce, right, now you're going to make a mess for your kids. And me, I kind of feel like love, it depends how much you love that person. If you like really, really, really love that person, I don't think the love could run out too quickly. I've seen couples who are like 90 years old. I've seen couples who are like 100 plus, and they still miss their partner, and they do anything to have them back. So I feel like, yes, love can run out, but to an extent, I'd say. It depends how much you love the person. That's what I'll say. Depends how much you love the person. If you really love the person, I feel like your love could be somewhat endless. If that makes sense.
So how could you make it so that love takes over for longer? What could you do? Because you didn't really offer any salvation if the love runs out. If the love runs out, well, congratulations, you're stuck in the relationship, you can't get anywhere. Cool, you're done. You have too much responsibility to get out.
Yeah.
You're done. You're gonna be miserable. How can you make that love for long?
Let Nafis answer. I'll get back. I'm still trying to think. Nafis, what do you think?
I'm still thinking about the one before, because like the way you explained it was touching on the way I was talking about responsibility, because because you said like how you're stuck in that relationship afterwards. The love is just there still anyway. Like you're gonna be willing to stay with that person. You got your kids and everything. There's that sense of responsibility. But then to properly touch on what he's trying to say with like when the love runs out, I do think it comes down to that willingness again. Because like, yes, of course you see people getting divorced, marrying again, having more children, But then, but then, why? I don't really understand the reasonings of divorce. Really, to be honest, like you had already committed to the marriage, yet your love ran out, and then you want a divorce. Kind of confuses me a bit, but I don't know.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that too. Because, like, if you're going to get into a committed, keyword, committed, you are willing, and that other person's also willing. You also have to understand that love doesn't last forever type thing. So, if you are going to get with that person, you have to understand that there will be that point where, obviously, things won't hit the same from the beginning until now. So, I have to agree with what Nafis touched up on, yeah.
About divorces to me are quite simple. Look at it at a friendship perspective. The moment, if you don't have strong bindings holding you together, the moment you disagree on disposal of things, that person can end. Same as a relationship. If it goes a bit deeper, but
I'd somewhat disagree with what you said. Comparing the relationship and friendship.
You can love someone so much from your heart, but that doesn't mean that you're gonna have the perfect relationship with the other person. You can actually love a person way too much, and they'll destroy your relationship. Or you don't love them enough. Love is, it's important, but to me, it's not necessarily the main thing. Respect and understanding plays, and maturity plays very big parts. If you don't respect your partner, then that love starts going away. Because if you don't respect your partner, if you don't give your partner the equal amount of respect that she deserves, what will happen then is that person will start resenting you. Because going based off what Lamin said, you're stuck in that relationship. The moment you don't treat your partner right, that person is stuck there, so she feels like it's her responsibility to be in that relationship. Regardless, she wants to be in there. And if she doesn't feel like she's respected and treated properly or appreciated, that person will be in a place where she doesn't want to be. No one would want to be in an environment where they're not appreciated and not respected. So that love will go away, and that person will start resenting you. That is no longer a healthy relationship. If you want to learn love, two most basic things is appreciation and respect. And appreciation also goes back to what the Prophet Sallallahu said. One of the best ways to improve any relationship that you have is showing your appreciation. And a lot of people don't do this.
Counter argument here, though. Counter argument here.
Basic things. Let me finish and now I'll let you talk. The most basic of things what a person does for you, if you show you appreciation, that person will like you more for that and will be more willing to do the good deeds that has done for you. What was your counter argument?
But at the same time, again, like I said, I can't. This word you're going to be hearing me saying it a lot. Committed, right? So think about this, right? Obviously, okay, let's say in our case, right? Let's say we're about to get married and we're out here, we're searching for wives, blah blah blah. Now, when you're searching for a wife, again, someone who you want to spend the rest of your life with, right? Obviously, no one goes into a marriage thinking, okay, I'm gonna marry this person, be with them 5 years, divorce. No one thinks like that. What you wanna do is obviously you're gonna wanna search for someone who will treat you right, who has the same, like, what's it called? Who has the same interests and similar stuff like you. So the question is, why would you get into a relationship with somebody in which you know, like, obviously if you're gonna get with someone, you got to get to know them. Let's say, for example, if I'm talking, I'm trying to find a girl, and then she says, "Oh, okay, I'm the type of girl who likes to go partying. I like to talk to a lot of guys." Like, obviously, I'm not gonna go for that. So the question is, why would you go into such a relationship with such a person, knowing that they ain't gonna treat you well? So that's my counter argument.
It's very simple. People don't show their true colors until they're going outside. A person is so complex that you can't decipher a person from the very get-go. You're asking a very simple question, and yet it is something that is so often. People get into relationships in such a fast time without properly knowing the other person, without actually talking it through. A lot of the times, people get into relationships not because they know that it's going to be fruitful, but most of the time it's just because of the emotion. They are making their decisions based on emotion. Relationship and marriage is no more different than a business deal. A lot of the times, when you ask a person, what do you see in the person? Oh, I like his beard. He's such a good Muslim. He prays. He's really hardworking. He's really rich. He's a nice, kind man. And if you go to the men's, like, oh, she's gorgeous. She cooks, takes care of me. Please stop. You're not marrying a beard. You're not marrying a dishwasher. Okay?
Thank you.
You're not marrying a person that just makes. You're marrying a person. People are a lot more complex than that. When you get in a relationship, you need to ask the important questions, which is what you want to do in the future. How do you see yourself? Because everyone has a different goal. If your goals and the lifestyle that you want doesn't match the other person, you're not going to be happy. Because when the time comes where you try to reach that goal, that person doesn't want to go there. As much as you want, you can't change a person. You can influence change,
But it's
but
up to
change
them.
will only come if they're willing to do it themselves.
That's it.
So there's that. And about respect, a lot of the time, again, people get into relationships way too soon. They think they know the other person, but in reality, they only know the good side of that person. The side that your partner only allowed to show you. So the moment you settle down and the moment you move into a house, you're starting to see the other side of that person. And most of the times, people get disappointed by it, especially men. I'm seeing guys that oh bro, she changed. She wasn't like this. No, she's not changed one bit. You just ignore the red flags. Women are very honest. Women won't lie about themselves. Women will show you the exact way they are, but because a lot of guys love them so much, they'll ignore the red flags, and a couple of years in, they'll realize, hold on, this isn't the person that I thought it would be. And a lot of times for women, they don't know what to pick in a man. That's one problem that women have. If a woman does not have a good father figure in her childhood, which a lot of women have now, they don't know what makes up a man or what to search in a man. So they wouldn't know if the person that they're picking now is the right one, is respectful, is masculine, responsible, whatever. A lot of times they make the wrong choice. And you also have cases where you have broken people. Yes, broken people that come from abusive households or whatever. Like in a household where the male figure abuses the female figure, that mother won't have healthy upbringing because she's not healthy herself. She's not healthy because she chooses to stay in that relationship where she shouldn't have. It doesn't. In that moment, it does not matter if you're committed. It does not matter if no, you're not meant to be there. But the moment you choose to be there, you become a broken person, and the offspring that you're gonna have is not gonna be any better than you. When you look in the okay, I'm gonna get into a bit more deeper. When you look for women, as a guy, the main thing you're fighting against, not fighting, competing against, is your childhood. You need to look at the father figure and mother figure. At some point, women will become, to a certain degree, like their mothers. If the mother is kind to the father, whatever, takes care of the children, all these things, you can't expect the same from the woman. And you need to look at the father figure, because the father figure gives all the morals, etiquettes, values to that child. And later on, if the father figure is good, that child will be more secure and will make better decisions. Why? Because she has her father to look up to and to stand by. If there's a problem, she's fine, she's secure, because why? Her father is there to help her. And it's also important because then she knows what a good man looks like. And so she'll be more picky with boys. And a lot of the time, girls fall for guys that make...
Wait. Counter argument. But you have to remember, in Islam, right, a woman can't get married without her dad. So, obviously you have to remember as well that her dad is also going to take a good look at you. And if you ain't the right guy, if you're a guy that he does not like at all, he's not going to let you get with her daughter. So, what would you say about that too?
If you're a man that gambles, drinks, whatever, you wouldn't mind if the person in front of you does the same thing, regardless if that makes you a good person or not. If you're a particular type of person that stands in front of you, you would want them to be like you. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever seen a world man hang out with some guy from some philosopher?
Of course.
Have you seen any businessman hang out with a painter? No.
I have.
Cool.
No.
I actually have.
Shut up. That's an exception. If you want to be a part of a tribe, that tribe needs to be similar to yours. So that goes to the same thing. If you're a good person, you would want a good person. If you're a bad person, you want bad person.
I mean,
So
you attract
if-
what you are.
If you're not a yeah, exactly. If you're not a masculine man yourself to begin with, not only you don't know what makes up a man, so you can't really choose the right person to begin with. But also, you won't have a backbone to say, you know what? No, I don't think I like you. If you don't have a backbone, you can easily get pressured into saying yes. That's it.
Yeah, being
That's
a yes
why-
man, being a yes man.
Yeah, and that's why females without a good father figure struggle. They struggle a lot because they find a man that says that loves them, but doesn't really love them, but he makes them believe that they love them, and they fall for it. And when they realize that this person isn't the right one, either they stick around enough for that guy to damage her badly, or they can't get out. And by the time they do, the damage is already done. So, to answer your question, this goes. People don't know how to pick others because of bad childhood. So that is why now, in a lot of common cases, we pick the wrong person for us. We don't pick an actual good person because we don't know what to look in a good partner. And a lot of the times, people get into relationships blindly. As I said earlier, they see the other person's true self and they think that they've changed. No, they haven't. Don't. You don't change. You don't. You are the same. That's why. That's one reason why divorces are higher. Social media is also really good divorces. That's another thought. So if you want a good lasting relationship, if you want love, just loving person is not enough. Especially if you're a man. Especially if you're a man. If you're a man, it's a lot harder for you to keep a relationship than if you were a woman. Because why? If you want to love that person, first of all, you need to be masculine. If you're not masculine, you're not doing a good job to begin with. Masculinity, being strong-willed, it also attracts a lot of women. And there are times where you have boundaries. You don't accept bad women. Mm-mm. Second of all, you're gonna attract women a lot more. And with masculinity, you also take care of that person. You need to respect that person to be a good masculine man, be an actual man. You need to respect that person. You need to protect that person. You need to provide for that person. You need to take charge of that relationship. The moment you don't take charge of that relationship, you activate the paternal instinct of a woman. And rather than being a partner, she starts seeing herself more as a parent that's taking care of you and trying to build you up. She will no longer love you, but you'll be more of a burden or responsibility to her rather than an equal. So that's another thing that will make you miserable. So again, if you're a man and you want to keep the loving relationship, if she can't depend on you, then what are you good for? The stuff come in. You need things to be moved. If you're not there to help her, then what are you good for? The moment she realizes this, oh, I have to do everything myself. Oh, I cook for this guy, I take care of his children, I clean his house, I make his coffee, he can't even carry some stuff for me. What is he good for? That love goes away.
True.
Just loving a person is not enough. You need to work for it.
Yeah.
You need to work to keep that love. And respect and appreciation is very big on that. If you don't appreciate your partner, again, she'll stop loving you. You need to show appreciation. And through appreciation, your relationship will get even better.
And the thing is as well is that women only love conditionally. So if you got nothing to offer, she's not gonna love you. That's it.
I wouldn't say so. I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't
I
say
would.
that.
If
No.
let's say right, I've got nothing to offer, right? I'm just a guy. I don't have money. What else? I'm not good looking. Let's say you're a guy who's got money. You're good looking. Now, if a girl was to look at both of us, who would she choose? Or okay, let me change it up. Actually, let me change it up. Let's say right, I'm a good-looking guy, but I don't have money. I still live with my parents. I depend on my parents, right? But you're not as good-looking, but you've got the money. You live by yourself. You know, you're a high-value man. Now, realistically speaking, would a girl choose me or would a girl choose you? You, of course.
It depends on which girl we're talking about.
Remember, Ahmed, the topic, today's society. Today's society.
If we go based on what you said, no uni student should have a partner. No college student should not be able to find any girlfriends at all. The only people with girlfriends would only be people that are working full time. If we go based on what you said, because what you said is not true.
No, I'm asking. Obviously, the two examples, right? Knowing this generation, knowing off the base, us two examples, right? If let's say they wanted to be with someone, and these were us two were the examples, like okay, who would you choose between us two? Obviously, they would choose you.
If you go for the basic person, it's very much about attraction. If you know how to attract a female, with females, attraction is not as physical as it's for men. For men, attraction is very much, oh, is she fit? Oh, she has gorgeous eyes, whatever. It's all materialistic. It's all on the body. Women are a lot more deeper than that. With women, you need to create the attraction, and most of the time, it does not depend on your looks. It depends on the game that you have. That's why with one night stand-ups, if you have good game, you can have most of the girls. Attraction works a lot more differently with them. Because I'll give you an example. There's a reason why women like men with deep voices, because it brings mystery to them. Women love mystery. Women are very curious creatures. They want to. You make them attracted to you by making them think of you. If you tell them everything straight away, they won't think of you. Though. Why should they? Because they already know everything about you. But you meet up with her and give her a good time. But you stay mysterious. She doesn't really know much about you, and she'll start trying to picture and pick who you are. For them, it's more fun trying to figure you out than actually you telling them. That breaks all the fun. They're not going to think about it now. They're not curious. But them being curious, it's a bit more fun for them. So if you know how to make chemistry, it's a lot more easier. And the second answer to your question is which type of women you're going for. Because there was a psychiatrist that was saying, I think dating in Dubai, after a time when you become rich, so as a man, your options open up so much. You can go to whoever you want, regardless. Because of your influence, money, whatever status, Like almost every woman opens up to you. But the thing is, if you go after a role model, if you go after like this really pretty girl, you're not the only person going after her. There's also other rich guys also going after her. So most of the times, and there is a real issue, the rich guys end up with unfaithful women. Why? Because they're there for the money and stability support. It doesn't matter if I'm good looking or not. That's why you see. That's why you see like all these influencers getting cheated on. Why shouldn't they? Why shouldn't they? Because there's going to be like 10 more other guys going for her. What's keeping her in that relationship? Nothing. So what if you paid for her Uber? So will the next guy. But if you go for someone that has values, maturity, that is looking something deeper than that rather than just financial stability and whatnot, then it changes. Then it changes because then your value, not value, your status and money isn't the only important thing to her then. Because she wants a partner for the long term. She will care about the type of person you are. Then your physical looks will become a bit less important. And regardless if you're good looking or not, you can still get her to love you by flirting, by making her think of you, by making some jokes. That's why you seen like there was one Hollywood guy. People hated him. He's like an average dude, but he's going out with like gorgeous ladies. What is his name? I can try to look him up.
No, it's okay. Just carry on.
That's why. That's my answer.
Alright. So, Nafis, what do you want to say relating back to the topic of marriage in this generation? What would you want to say?
I do agree with what he's saying. Like, I do think it's all true. Especially like sometimes the woman would look for the better personality. Personality does go a long way.
It really does, yeah.
Then I would also agree with what you were saying earlier, because in this generation specifically, we're all materialistic. There's no doubt about it.
What'd you say?
I do agree with what
materialistic.
Yeah, people are just materialistic in this generation.
100%.
No, I disagree with that. Go on.
So like when Lamin was saying like who would the woman choose over you or him with different qualities and traits, like it's pretty one-sided. So I did agree with Lamin on that.
Alright then, I'm gonna say what I think about marriage in this generation as a whole, going back to the topic. I'd say marriage in this generation, a complete mess. It's a complete mess. You got people who are either running away from marriage, which is very common, or you got people who are going to use marriage as an advantage. Let me start with my first point, saying people are running away from marriage. As you guys can see, in this generation, fornication is so normalized. You got people out here competing for body counts. Who has the highest body count? Who's the most respected? Oh, because you got the highest body count. You got stupid things like this that put out there like, yo, there's no point of marriage. And then for the guys too. Guys think that, oh, marriage is too risky. Because if I get in marriage, whatever's mine is hers. And then when it comes to divorce, this is the main problem. This is why people try to run away from it, because of divorce. If things end up not working out, right? It's like, okay, so the guy thinks, okay, the divorce has happened now. How much of my money am I going to have to give to her? Okay, kids as well. If you have kids, it makes it worse because in some cases, for some reason, somehow the woman manages to win and have full custody of the kids, while the father, who loves the kids to bits, doesn't even have access to his own kids. You see what I'm saying? And then also, you also got guys who don't want to get married because, again, relating back to the body count, they just want to do the thing with her, and as soon as she comes out, hey, I'm pregnant, he runs away. Whereas if it's a marriage, it's like somewhat of a, it's, I wouldn't say impossible, but it's like harder to run away type thing. You see what I'm saying? And then also, like Nafis said, materialistic. I will be so real with you, Ahmed. There are, you haven't seen, I'm telling you, there are so many materialistic people out here. For example, girls are the biggest people I know who are materialistic. For example, like there are girls out here saying, I want to get with a guy who has 6 figures in his account, he's driving a Lamborghini, he's driving a this, he got an iPhone and all of that. Like what? Why does materialistic items matter? Like, bro, I was on Instagram, no, it was Snapchat, and I seen a screenshot where this girl said she saw a beautiful guy, but she's gonna stop being with him. She doesn't want to go near him because he has an Android. You're gonna let this materialistic item, the size of my hand, be the obstacle, be the reason why you don't want to be in a relationship with a person? That's crazy if you ask me. You're gonna let something this small get in the way of being in a relationship. I'm telling you, bro, I've seen it, and it's weird. Because like you said earlier, you're not marrying the beard, you're not marrying this, you're marrying the person. This is the person you're going to spend the rest of your life with. So let's say, okay, you want to get with a guy who has 6 figures in his account and he has a Lambo and he has this and that. One day, God forbid this happens, but one day, boom, he loses all of that. What's going to happen? Of course you're not going to stay with him. You were with him in the first place for his things, not for him personally. So that's how I see marriage in this generation. It's a complete mess. People are trying to run away from it, and people who are going towards it, not everyone goes with good intentions. That's how I see, that's how I look at it. That's how I look at marriage in this generation, to be honest with you guys. That's how I look at it.
Okay, 2 things. I didn't say that there's no materialism. Materialism exists in both genders, not just one. But saying that all females are materialistic, that's absurd.
No, I'm not saying all females. I'm telling you, there are mainly. But yeah, don't get me wrong. If you actually look carefully, you will find some who actually do not care, who aren't as stupid and childish enough to let such things get in the way.
No, that I agree with you. That I agree with. But there's a minority, but I'm not saying all of them. That's what I meant earlier. What you're trying to say now is women are not favorable, but the right words here. They're not necessarily likable for marriage. This is not necessarily because women's fault. It's because of the Western society that we live in. If you go to Eastern society or Africa, life is a lot more simple.
That's what I'm saying.
If you go to the Muslim countries, if you go to poor countries, a lot more simple. The issues that we have now here is particularly in the West, and that is because of the Western society. The reason why women are not favorable now is because of the role models, because of the content, because of all the fame that is fed to the young generation. I mean, look at OnlyFans. Now we have young girls, right? They're looking at this. They're wondering, why should I go university? Why should I have education or whatnot? When I can just post a couple pictures online and
The
make
lack of
money.
self-respect. Lack of self-respect.
No, it's not. It's not. Yeah, it is lack of self-respect, but there is lack of self-respect because society deems that as normal.
As normal, yeah.
The Western society is very degenerative. Let's get that clear. All of this is through the movies that we watch, and the TV shows, and the other media that we. I mean, like, there's a big TV show, whatever. They put sex scenes in there for the hee-hee-ha-has. Why not? And then you have cartoons and whatnot that you watch, who are also degenerate, that characters are doing things they shouldn't be doing. I mean, they're sexualizing women and men in every chance they get in Marvel movies. The new Thor movie, the scene is completely naked. That's sexualizing the guy. You look at any a female superhero, she has like a chest all bundled, and see like person like, and look at all the music that's coming up now. Look at all the pop stars, the celebrities. They're all degenerate people, they're terrible people, but they're getting a lot of attention. Another reason why we're having the current issues that we're having now also has to go with feminism. Feminism destroyed the values that we had before and made what is normal seem unnormal and shameful. Second wave feminism destroyed housewife.
Even coming out with terms such as what? Toxic masculinity. Like, sorry to interrupt.
Let me get to that. Second wave feminism destroyed housewife and demonized them, while third wave feminism tried to bash masculinity down with things like you said, like toxic masculinity, whatever, and told women that they should not be feminine, they should be masculine. Told men that they should be feminine and not masculine. Trying to destroy the gender role. All of these things. So now we have people with no ethical values, no religion to keep them in place, or to give them any sort of human behavior. I'm actually gonna button this out. I feel ashamed. We have celebrities. We have examples to the youth that are terrible, that are doing all the bad stuff that normally you shouldn't be doing. The private conversations that we should be having, like sex or whatever, they should be private. They're becoming public. And discussing these things are now seen as normal, and we should discuss them. And then you have the LGBT movement that is ruining basic concepts of marriage and femininity, whatever. Because of all these factors, how can you expect a person that lives in that society, who consumes all the content and whatever has that society to offer, how do you expect that person to come out to be an ethical, traditional, good ruling person? You can't. Because all the things that society breeds, toxic person, it's a bad person. That's why it's not to a certain extent, it's not the female's fault. It's the society that we live in. The society is very corrupt and degenerative. Society is bad. I don't like society. And this is in Western society. If you go to Eastern society, even Eastern Europe, it's much better. Much better. If you go to Asia, much better. If you go to Arabic countries, better. If you go to African countries, life is simpler. This is the problem that we have in Western society. And because of all of these things, women are not favorable by men. That's why men don't want to get married in Western society, because there's no good females to pick. And now we're starting to see the rise of single women at the age of 40, 50, when it becomes too late for them to get married. Men don't want them because they're not beautiful.
Okay, I agree with what you said. It's also, like I said, with the toxic masculinity part as well. It's like doing the basic things in marriage is seen as toxic. Example, right? Obviously, your wife is gonna go out, let's say, to the market to go do some shopping, right? She's, let's say, wearing some tight clothes, right? And you say, no, you're not going out in that. This generation will label that as, what would they say? They'd say that's oppressive or something like that. No, it's not. Again, Nafis, just like Nafis, in the first episode, the female, would you let your spouse have friends of the opposite gender? Relating back to that, the kind of guys we live in this society, it's just like what Ahmed said. With the norm of OnlyFans, now guys are gonna be out here thinking, yeah, it's okay for me to, stare at this woman. A little peek won't hurt. You know what I'm saying? So knowing that these kind of guys exist, of course I'm not gonna let my girl go out in tight clothes and guys stare at her. No way. That's my girl, not anyone else's. But allegedly protecting her in that case because you love her is seen as oppression. That's why nowadays you see girls going out in bikinis and stuff like that like it's nothing. There's no shame. Influencers have literally taken away shame. You can go do this, you can go do that. Who cares? Like, don't get me wrong. You can do whatever you want, right? Life is short, but there's an extent to it. There's an extent to what you do. You see what I'm saying? And then you also got this society normalizing guys becoming feminine. Like, no. If a guy becomes feminine just like a woman, who's gonna keep the household in check? That's my question. Who would keep the household in check if a guy is gonna be acting like a woman? And the funniest thing is as well, they want to fight about equality, right? Okay, cool. You go tell a woman, go and fight in the army. And all of a sudden, she prefers to go back to the kitchen. All of a sudden, she thinks, you know what? I don't even want to fight in the army. I don't want to fight in the army. I want to go in the kitchen and make a sandwich. Like, no. You're fighting for equality. Okay, go fight in the army. Nope. All of a sudden, they want to go to the kitchen. Like, it doesn't make sense to me. This society has just messed up. And just like Ahmed said, feeding it through cartoons and movies targeted at little kids. That's why me personally, I avoid stuff like Netflix. I try to avoid going to the cinema. Because again, they're feeding you this information through cartoons. And again, this society with all its influences and all of that are normalizing this. Yeah, bro, it's okay. A little bit of this won't hurt. A little bit of that won't hurt. Just for the giggles. But they don't know long term what they're doing. That's why I actually feel so sorry for the next generation. Honestly, I feel so sorry for the next generation. Again, you got all these influencers normalizing such things. Obviously, again, like Ahmed said, talking about certain stuff like sex, for example, should be kept private. Again, there should be that level of shame. But again, in this generation, it's just taken away. Talking about sex, that's fine. It's nothing. No, there is. You should have such shame. What happened to the days where, whenever like sex was brought up, people they wouldn't rock with it. Nowadays, people want to talk about it like, yeah, like it's nothing. Like, it's weird. It's weird. You see what I'm saying? So, marriage, this generation is ruined. This generation is ruined. And if you try to follow such things of the previous generation, that's a problem. Like nowadays, people are thinking it's okay for my wife to have a guy best friend. No way. That's not okay. What happens? if you decide to be lenient with your woman and you let her have male friend after male friend after male friend, like Ahmed said, there is an opportunity. There's an opportunity to cheat. There's an opportunity to cheat. Because the more you chill with that guy, like there's gonna be a temptation. There's gonna be a temptation. Now some people can argue that, oh, if you're not letting your girl have male friends, you're just insecure. No, I am a male myself. I know. The thing is, we know stuff that females will never know, and if they do know, they may not even understand. And in some cases, it can also be like us guys have also been caught up doing that specific thing, which is why we know. That's why we can't let our female folk them chill with the opposite gender. That's what I'll have to say. That's what I have to say. You guys want to add anything?
I wouldn't necessarily say. Okay. Gonna go slightly against you here. I wouldn't necessarily say it's a bad thing to have friends from the opposite gender. You can have friends, it's fine. But what matters is the amount of boundaries that you put in distance. So, to begin with, if you say something similar to this, if you're really too close to the opposite gender, there are higher chances of one of the parties developing feelings for one another. That's why you try to keep a small distance, unless if you have interest in that person, then you won't keep that distance at all. But if you're in a relationship, then there's different outlook. First of all, you shouldn't be that close to any of the male friends to you. If your partner is uncomfortable with one of your friends from the opposite gender, regardless, your partner could be favorably female, further male. Then you going out with that friend of yours from the opposite gender, while your partner is uncomfortable, and you go to private and have intimate conversations, then to a certain extent that can be cheating. Because cheating does not start at sex. Cheating starts a lot more early. Like Lyman said, if I have a female friend, I'm in a relationship, my intentions can be pure. Maybe hers won't. I can still be friends, but from a safe distance. If I want to hang out with that person, I'll call my partner like, hey, let's go out. Can we invite a couple friends? And you make a friend bubble. And you invite your friend to that friend bubble. In that scenario, you're hanging out with everyone, not just one person. That makes a massive difference. One, you can't be intimate. The conversations that you're having is directed to a lot more people, so there's less chances of actually flirting, because some people will not get weirded out, some people will raise questions. And if you're with your partner, that should be impossible. If you still flirt, then that's a red flag. You shouldn't be in that relationship.
Yeah.
So it's fine to have friends from the opposite gender, but just in safe distance and with boundaries.
I disagree with that part. I disagree.
The moment they cross your boundaries, it's like, no. And I'm saying this both as a Muslim as well, because at the end of the day,
but in Islam, we're not allowed to have friends from the opposite gender. Let me elaborate just to make it clear. So Islamically, alright then.
So what is our goal here on this materialistic, on this fake world? Our goal is to good gender, but also to spread Islam. Now, if you're gonna say, okay, I'm a good Muslim, I will not interpret the opposite gender. I will only interpret my gender. You're immediately cutting 50% of the population just because you refuse to talk to the opposite gender. Now you're cutting potential people that can become Muslim, and you can take them with Jannah. If you're truly honest with your message and with your intent, and you wouldn't mind whoever it is that you're talking to, or what gender it is, because you're talking with good intent and you're trying to spread Islam. If you keep your distance and have good boundaries, you can do good deeds. This does not matter if the person has a gender or whatnot. You practice self-control. And just because you're friends doesn't mean you need to hang out. No, just a friend. Go on.
Like I was saying, Islamically, right, communication with the opposite gender is so restricted. That's why Islam.
There you go. That's exactly what I said.
No, but I'm just saying. For those who don't know, for those tuning in don't know, Islamically, right. That's why in the Quran we are so what was the word? Encouraged, especially the guys, to lower our gaze. Don't check out women. Don't look at them. Stuff like that. And also, like, we're not allowed to be friends with them. We're not allowed to touch them. Even contact. We're not allowed anything like that. So the question is as well, like you said, if you obviously you're gonna get married, you're gonna want your spouse to go to Jannah as well. So now, if you're letting your girl have guy friends, not just best friends, you are actually making yourself a dayuth in this case. You guys are aware of what a dayuth is?
No.
So a dayuth in Islam is like, it's not a good thing, by the way. It's a guy who, basically, to put it in today's words, to basically let his female people hoe around. Example, your female people who you have companionship over, if that's even the right word. So people like your mother, your sister, your wife, and your daughters. Let's say those people say, I'm gonna go chill out with a boy. They are not married to that person. They are not related to that person in any way, shape, or form. So if you were to say, yeah, cool, you go ahead, that makes me a dayuth, because I'm supposed to be protecting these people. Why am I gonna let them go and chill with the opposite gender, knowing Islamically it is not allowed at all? You see what I'm saying?
You're not. That's not what I said, though. You're not listening to what I'm saying. What I said is, look, your spouse can have friends, but from a safe distance and with boundaries. Now, if you're saying that my partner is going to hang out with this boy or with this man in a private one-on-one place, and close, where's the boundary there?
I heard that part. Yeah, I heard that part. Like you said, it's better for you to chill in a bubble. I heard that.
Yeah, what I'm saying is, as long as there's like safe distance and boundaries, that, it's not the end of the world. And you shouldn't have too many friends of the opposite gender anyway. If she has too many, way too many male friends, that's a bit sus to me. But
red flag indeed. It's a concern, big one. That's why
I would still say saying that you shouldn't talk to the opposite gender at all is a bit too much. Because if you want to get to know the person, right? If we're talking marriage-wise, there has to be a level of communication. There has to be a level of communication. You have to look at this person. Am I attracted to this person? Yes or no? once you know that you're attracted to this person, then you can lower your gaze so you don't look at that person sexually. But once you say, okay, I'm interested in this person, I want to get to know this person. You can't get to know a person if you're not directly communicating with her. And just if you want to communicate, you don't have to do it sexually or flirty either. The way I see it, the safest way I would do is for a very safe dating level, where you go to a person, you say, look, I'm interested in you, can I have your father's number? I would like to have your father's details, and you go see the family. Now,
That's it.
I'm going to go a bit on choosing how to choose your partner as well. It's going to be, I'm hitting two birds with one stone.
Alright, Ahmed, be quick with it because we're running out of time a bit. It's a bit too long this episode. Longer than I anticipated. But go on, real quick.
When you're looking for a person, you want to look at their parents and see what type of relationship they have to know where is this person coming from. Is this person coming from a healthy family or a broken family?
Broken family, yeah.
Yeah, does this person have a good feminine, healthy mother and a masculine, healthy father figure? Yes, that's brilliant. And later, you talk with the father. Say, look, I'm interested in your daughter. I would like to see this person. You can go out in a couple of cafe trips. Sit with her, talk with her, see if you guys, have matching interests.
Wait.
If your dreams are matching.
Wait. You mind if I squeeze something in there?
Go on.
So, Islamically, right, another thing is a guy and a girl cannot be alone except that the third person with them is shaitan. And for those of you who do not know what shaitan is the devil. So, if you're going to have a meeting with her... With her dad, did you say that?
No, I said that's why you're going to a cafe. A cafe is not an alone place.
No, but the thing is, you have to be
people in a cafe.
But it has to be with a mahram. Because let's say I go and I'm gonna touch her up. If people see me, they're just gonna think, oh, okay, he's with her. We'll leave her alone. But if her dad's there, he's gonna be like, yo, you're not with her yet. So you see what I'm saying? So if you're gonna get to know her, a mahram of hers has to be there. Her dad, her brother. A male mahram, obviously. There's no problem with getting to know her. Fair. But you can't be alone with her. Yeah. So you can continue what you're saying. Yeah.
I wouldn't disagree with that. But that's the thing. And once both people think that, hey, look, this relationship is fruitful. After you get to know her for a good period of time, you just go for marriage. And you get married. It's that simple.
Completely agree with Ahmed said.
And if it doesn't work out, divorce. It's okay.
Completely agree. And the thing is as well, is some people as well wouldn't be too comfortable with their parents type thing. So, let me explain what I mean. So what I mean by that is, right, like, when their parents are around, it's like they can't lie type thing. So let's say, back to what you were saying. You're in a cafe, you, her, and her dad's in the middle. She'll be saying some stuff. Yeah, like let's say she's lying, saying, I cook and clean, blah, blah, blah. Her dad can just butt in and say, really? Because I've never seen you cook and clean in a day of my life. So you know what I'm saying? So that would be perfect. Again, like you said, communication before you tie the knot is very, very important. Very, very important.
Yeah.
Gotta agree with what you said there, 100%. Nafis, you want to add anything on that?
Not really. I agree completely.
First. Alright then, guys. You guys want to wrap up this episode because an hour and 15 minutes of recording. An hour. That's more than I thought. I'm thinking this probably going to go 45 minutes, but an hour and 15. And the worst bit is I have to chop some things out because some of Ahmed's stuff I didn't record. That's the worst part.
Come on.
Because basically when I put you into full screen, I forgot that your audio didn't come with it. And it was like halfway through I realized, like, oh. But don't worry, most of what you got most of what you said, I got it, so we don't have to worry about that part.
Bro, like 70% of the podcast is just me.
That's true. So, might as well make it 80%. You want to add anything on top, or we wrap it up here, lads?
I would say that going into relationships and marriage is very much a logical decision. You should always treat it with logic,
Respect.
not with emotion. And especially as a man, you should treat every decision with logic. And there are times where, regardless of how you feel or not, you need to do the right thing. So if you love a girl, you know that, you know what, I don't think it's gonna work out, then you say no. Sorry, no.
Be upfront, be honest.
Yes. You should always be honest, be respectful, treat people equally, appreciate people, and be a good man or a woman. If there are any ladies watching here, let me know.
You know what I'm saying? Nafis, you want to say any advice? You want to say anything?
No, just I agree, you know, and subhanallah, may Allah bless us all, you know.
Oh, I mean, 100%. 100%. Me, I'll just say, if you're looking for a spouse, take your time. Take your time. There is no rush. Go in with the right intentions. Don't go into marriage and get married because, oh, all my friends are getting married. No, that's the wrong intention. Get married because for the sake of Islam. Because, of course, if you marry someone, that's 50% of your deen. That's half your deen completed. Get into marriage with the right intention. The intention, of course, I'm going to complete my deen. I want to treat somebody right. You know what I'm saying? And, of course, as well, before you get married as well, have a good look at yourself. Because as well, I have to put this out there, there are guys as well who have some ridiculous requirements. Like they'll be saying, I want a girl who knows all of the Quran, she prays, all of that. Bro, the last time you prayed was 2017. The last time you prayed was 2017. But you want a girl who prayed literally a couple minutes ago. That can't work. That can't work. Like I said earlier, you attract what you are. And what makes you think such a pious woman would even take a glance at somebody like you? You see what I'm saying? So again, before you even think about marriage, think about this. Is my relationship with my Lord, is it good? Because if you can't even maintain a relationship with your Lord, what makes you think you can keep a relationship with a woman? Think about it. As a Muslim, you're meant to pray, you're meant to read the Quran. And if you can't do any of that, what makes you think you'll be able to love a woman, put a roof over her head, such things? So, take a good look at yourself. If you think you are ready for marriage, take your time. There is no rush. Again, go in with the right intention. That's all I'm going to say for this episode. That's all I'm going to say. So that's it, guys.
I think this was one of the deeper episodes.
Oh my god, man, this is a long ass episode. Well, you guys want to shout yourselves out or something? Or
There's no short episode when Ahmed's around.
oh, 100%. The last episode was, I think, 30 minutes long, and this one is an hour and 20. It's probably going to be chopped down to an hour, but so far an hour and 20 minutes. But yeah, guys,
Alright.
we'd like to thank you guys for tuning in to this episode of the Gentleman's Podcast. We hope you enjoyed today's episode. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And also put down in the comments, what do you want us to talk about in our next episode? Episodes coming out each month. And yeah, guys, that's it. See ya.
Make sure to subscribe.
Oh,
Use that
make sure to
notification bell.
no,
May Allah bless us all.
Videos by Way Shadow Legends.
100%. Make sure, may Allah bless us all. 100%. Alright then. I'll see you guys in the next episode.